Alright, it is time for my NFL Week 1 predictions. I've been waiting to make this video and now I finally can. I'm actually already 0-1 on predictions this season because I took the Chiefs to win last night, and of course the Lions went into Arrowhead and beat the reigning Super Bowl champs. And I know no Kelsey or Chris Jones for the Chiefs, but it's a really big win by a team who has a lot of expectations coming into the season. But getting into these Sunday games, starting out with the Panthers and Falcons. No DJ Chark for Bryce Young making his career debut, and Adam Thielen is questionable on top of that, so he may not play. And of course, I talked about both these teams in the NFC South video, and I'm not a huge fan of Desmond Ridder, but I do like all the weapons that they have him surrounded with. So I think that on top of potentially Bryce Young not having his top two weapons in his career debut, it may be a rough day for him. I think the Falcons take this game. Next up, Bengals-Browns, another divisional matchup. A lot of these Week 1 matchups are divisional games, so, you know, divisional games mean that there's no clear winner. But honestly, in this one, I think that there is. I think the Bengals beat the Browns. A lot of people think it's going to be close, but I really don't. I know the Bengals last year versus the Steelers had a crazy 4 overtime game, or it was 4 missed field goals or something like that. Where the Bengals somehow won that game. Actually, no, I think the Steelers won that game. But this year, I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I don't think Joe Burrow throws 4 interceptions in Week 1. I think the Bengals take this game pretty clearly. Deshaun Watson's making his, not season debut, but you know what I mean. It's his first time starting the season for the Browns. But I think Cincinnati takes this one pretty easily. Next up with the Jags and Colts, another pretty easy game. The Colts don't really have much. Of course, Jonathan Taylor's out for the first 4 weeks. I think Trevor Lawrence and that Jags offense goes crazy, and it's not even a close game by halftime. Moving on, though, maybe a closer game, the Bucs versus Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings to win this game, but I don't know. I mean, the Bucs may have a little bit of a coaching, not advantage, but they have the experience on that team. And we'll see what happens with Mike Evans. I think the deadline for a contract extension with him and the Bucs, the deadline is tomorrow, Saturday. So we'll see if that happens maybe later tonight or tomorrow before Week 1 kicks off. But it's looking unlikely it's going to happen. This could potentially be his last season starting with the Bucs. But I do think that the Vikings win this game. They have the better team, clearly. I don't think Baker Mayfield has a great season in Tampa. Now, moving on, Titans versus Saints. This may be the first one that, you know, it's a bit questionable. I'm going to be taking the Titans to win this game. I think that they have the coaching advantage. I'm a big fan of Mike Vrabel, and he's really able to do whatever he wants with this team. I just got a notification, actually, that Treylon Burks is off the injury report, and he's going to be ready to go. And, you know, DeAndre Hopkins is making his Titans debut. We'll see how Ryan Tannehill plays this season. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to start every game. I think that, you know, maybe by the end of the season, if they aren't doing too good, they'll test out that younger talent in Malik Willis or Will Levis or whoever's on the team at that point. But yeah, I think that the Titans take an upset here. I'm a fan of the Saints team, but I don't think that they're going to be very special or special enough to spoil DeAndre Hopkins' debut in Tennessee. And another upset, actually, 49ers-Steelers. I'm going to be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. Now, the Steelers always surprise people in Week 1. The 49ers always, not always, but in the recent years, they've disappointed in Week 1. Last year, they went into Chicago and lost that game. Or actually, no, Chicago came to San Fran. I think that was the rainy game, and the Bears won that game somehow. The Steelers went into Buffalo 2 years ago, and they beat them. And last year, they went into Cincinnati, and they beat the Bengals, too. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers won this game. I'm probably going to put in some type of bet on Pittsburgh to win. I think Kenny Pickett has a big game with that offense, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Steelers team. I think that they can get it done and set the tone early in the year. I think they pull off the upset against San Fran. Moving on, Cardinals versus Commanders. Terry McLaurin is playing in this game. Even if he wasn't, I would be taking the Commanders. I also think that Sam Howell can have a really good year if he really develops the right way. I don't know if this is the right coaching staff to help him with that, so we'll see what happens in the course of the season. But starting off Week 1 against the Cardinals, you can't really ask for a much easier opponent. I think Washington takes this game. It's also the first home game with the new owner and all that stuff, so it should be a pretty exciting scene in Washington. Moving on, another pretty easy game, Texans versus Ravens. It's in Baltimore. Don't think it should be a very close game. CJ Stroud's career debut, so I'm excited to watch that. But I think the Ravens finally with the fully healthy team. Actually, Odell Beckham is questionable for the game with it. I think it's an ankle injury. We'll see if he ends up playing. Even if he doesn't, though, I would like to keep my pick as the Ravens. I think they get the job done no matter what. Moving on, Packers versus Bears. This is an exciting game. I'm not even going to lie. I'm taking the Bears in this game, and also I was taking the Bears no matter what, but Christian Watson is out for this game. Romeo Doubs, on top of that, is questionable. Now, if both those guys are out, Jaden Reed is the number 1 receiver for Jordan Love making his starter debut. Jaden Reed. I think that's a second or maybe a third or fourth round pick from last year. I don't know what the Packers are going to be doing this year, but they just should hope that Romeo Doubs plays. And even if he does play, their wide receiver too is Jaden Reed. So, the Bears improved that defense. They also improved the offense. The first game with Fields playing with DJ Moore, we'll see what happens, but I think Chicago takes it. This is a really underrated game in terms of importance for both these teams' seasons. I think the Bears get it done. They know how important it is, and it's at home in Chicago. I think that they beat the Packers, and they finally don't own them anymore. But moving on, we've got Raiders-Broncos. Chandler Jones is not playing in this game. I'm taking the Broncos to win it. From the start, I don't think that the Raiders are going to have a good season. I have them going 5-12. I have the Broncos going 7-10, but I think that they'll still be more successful with Sean Payton as their new head coach. So we'll see what happens with them, but I think week 1, I'm not really looking forward to this game much, but I think that Denver takes care of business and they get the job done. Eagles versus Patriots, another pretty easy game. I'm going to be taking the Eagles. Now, anything's really possible with Bill Belichick and the Patriots in week 1 of a new season, but in the end, I think the Eagles are going to be on a mission this season to get back and actually finish the job in the Super Bowl when they couldn't last year against Kansas City. I think that they get it done this week, though, against the Patriots. Dolphins-Chargers. Oh, man. The preview for this game will be coming out tomorrow, Saturday. But my prediction is going to be a little bit biased. I'm going to be taking the Dolphins to win this game. It's probably going to be the game of the week to me. It might be Cowboys-Giants or Bills-Jets, but to me, I think that it's going to be Dolphins-Chargers as the game of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing Tua versus Herbert for round 3. Not many injuries involved in this game, but Teron Armstead is looking ready to go. Actually, I'm getting a notification about him right now, so I'm going to check that out. And I take that back. Per Barry Jackson, Teron Armstead and Elijah Campbell are out Sunday. Justin Bethel and Julian Hill are questionable. So it's looking like it's going to be backup left tackle Kendall Lamb who gets the start. So it'll be Kendall Lamb and Austin Jackson on both sides of the offensive line versus Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So I'm not looking forward to that. We'll see how it goes, but I'm still going to be taking the Dolphins in this game. I have faith in my team. Moving on, Rams Seahawks. Cooper Kupp is out of this game. We'll get some news tomorrow whether he gets put on the IR. That could be some big news for the Rams, but it's looking like the Rams may be going into another awful season. I'm going to be taking the Seahawks in this game. I think that they have a pretty big one against the division rival. Now, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys-Giants. Another divisional game. This one could really go either way. I'm going to be leaning towards the Cowboys. I think after the way that last season ended for them, they're going to be coming back and they're going to want to get back and they're going to want to set the tone early this season. I think that all starts very well on prime time against a divisional rival. So I think that they end up getting the job done. Now, the Giants are a team that could really surprise some people this year. I think a lot of people have them doing worse than they did last year, even though they improved both sides of the ball. So keep an eye out for them. But I think on prime time, the Cowboys get the job done. And on Monday Night Football, Bills versus Jets. I am excited for this game. I don't even know who I'm going to be rooting for. I don't think I'm going to root for any specific team. But I have the Bills winning this one. It's the first game of this basically whole offense playing together. It's a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, a new running back coming in. Breece Hall's coming back from injury on top of a new running back in Dalvin Cook. Whole new wide receiver room basically other than Garrett Wilson. And it may take a couple games or maybe even around the whole season just to get everything, clicked in together. I think this is basically the same Bills team from last year and they can, they're going to already be ready for each other. So I'm going to be taking the Bills to win on prime time to open up the season. Man, I'm looking forward to this week 1 slate. We have a couple good games, but I think they could have done a little bit better job creating the schedule. Dolphins, Chargers, Cowboys, Giants, Bills, Jets, 49ers, Steelers, and Packers, Bears are my top games of the week. But those are my predictions for week 1. We'll be back for week 2 predictions, hoping for a record of 16-1, or no, actually 15-1, because I already got a game wrong. So either way, that'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.